The Vanishing, a father's 20-year secret. In the summer of 1991, 15-year-old Emma Morrison was living what most teenagers could only dream of: a month-long holiday in the sun-soaked coastal town of Malaga, Spain. But what began as a family vacation would become a nightmare that would haunt 3 generations and shatter the very foundation of truth itself. The Morrison family had saved for 2 years for this trip. David Morrison, a factory worker from Manchester, his wife Sarah, and their only daughter Emma, the light of their lives. Emma was everything parents hoped for: honor roll student, captain of her school's debate team, beloved by teachers and classmates alike. She had her whole life ahead of her. But on July 23, 1991, at precisely 3:47 p.m., Emma Morrison walked out of their hotel room in Malaga and vanished without a trace. What happened next would become one of Spain's most baffling missing persons cases. But the truth, the real truth, was far more sinister than anyone could have imagined. Search team sirens wail in the distance as Spanish newspaper headlines flash across the screen. British teenager missing in Malaga. Family pleads for answers. Search continues for Emma. The initial investigation seemed straightforward. Emma had left the hotel wearing her favorite yellow sundress, telling the front desk clerk she was going for a walk along the beach. Security cameras captured her leaving through the lobby at 3:47 p.m. After that, nothing. It was as if she had simply evaporated into the Mediterranean heat. 15:47, 23:07:91. Spanish authorities launched a massive search operation. Helicopters scoured the coastline. Divers plunged into the murky waters. Search dogs combed through every alley, every abandoned building. David Morrison appeared on television, tears streaming down his face, pleading for his daughter's safe return. A man's voice cracks with emotion. "Please, if you have Emma, just let her come home. She's just a child." But as days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, hope began to die. The Spanish search team had no leads, no witnesses, no evidence. Emma Morrison had simply disappeared. The screen fades to black, then slowly reveals a calendar pages being torn away, one by one, marking the passage of time. For David Morrison, the search never ended. While Sarah struggled with depression and eventually passed away in 2003, some say from a broken heart, David became obsessed. He returned to Spain 14 times over the years. He hired private investigators. He followed every lead, no matter how far-fetched. He never stopped believing that somewhere, somehow, Emma was still alive. The case went cold. Files were archived. The world moved on. But David Morrison couldn't move on. He couldn't let go of the daughter who had simply vanished into thin air. A clock ticks loudly in an empty room filled with boxes labeled Emma Evidence. Then, 20 years later, on a rain-soaked evening in Manchester, David Morrison made a decision that would change everything. He was going to tell the truth. The real truth. The truth he had carried like a poison in his heart for 2 decades. Lightning illuminates a man's silhouette sitting at a kitchen table, his head in his hands. It was 2011 when David Morrison, now gray-haired and hollow-eyed, contacted investigative journalist Catherine Wells. His voice was barely a whisper when he said the words that would shatter everything the world thought it knew about Emma's disappearance. "I need to tell you what really happened to my daughter. I've been lying for 20 years. A tape recorder clicks on in a dimly lit room. What David Morrison revealed in that interview would expose a web of deception, so shocking, so unthinkable, that it challenged everything we believe about the bonds between parent and child. The screen cuts to black, then slowly reveals the title card as unsettling string music swells. According to David's confession, Emma hadn't disappeared at all. She had never even made it to Spain. A passport stamp reading "Entry Denied" appears on screen. The truth David revealed was that Emma had died 3 days before their planned departure to Malaga. It had been an accident, a fall down the stairs at their Manchester home. David found her at the bottom of the staircase, her neck broken, her bright eyes forever closed. A staircase stretches into darkness, one step creaking ominously. But instead of calling for help, instead of calling the search team, David Morrison made a decision that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Paralyzed by fear, terrified that he would somehow be blamed, he chose to hide Emma's death. A suitcase snaps shut with an echo that reverberates through the silence. What followed was a deception so elaborate, so meticulously planned, that it fooled the world for 20 years. David buried Emma's body in a remote woodland area outside Manchester. Then he and Sarah, who David claimed knew nothing about what had really happened, continued with their vacation plans. They flew to Malaga as scheduled, with David playing the role of a grieving father whose daughter had mysteriously vanished. Airport departure boards flicker as a plane takes off into a stormy sky. The hotel security footage that showed Emma leaving the lobby? That was Sarah, wearing Emma's yellow sundress, her hair styled to match their daughter's. From behind, in the grainy black and white surveillance video, the deception was perfect. The security footage plays again, but this time something feels wrong. The figure moves differently. The posture is all wrong. David had coached Sarah on what to do, though he maintained she believed it was all just a cruel game, a way to get attention, to maybe get some compensation from the hotel for their negligence. Sarah, according to David, was struggling with her own mental health issues and was easily manipulated into playing along. A woman's silhouette mimics the movements of a teenager, her shadow distorted on the wall. For 20 years, the world searched for a girl who was already dead. For 20 years, David Morrison accepted sympathy, donations, and support from strangers who wanted to help find his missing daughter. For 20 years, he lived with the weight of his unspeakable secret. Money changes hands as sympathy cards pile up on a kitchen counter. But secrets have a way of eating at the soul. David's confession revealed a man destroyed by his own deception. He described sleepless nights haunted by Emma's memory. He spoke of moments when he almost confessed, to search team, to journalists, to his own wife, but always pulled back, too terrified of the consequences. A man paces in a bedroom, shadows dancing on the walls like ghosts. The revelation sent shockwaves through the true crime community. How could a father orchestrate such an elaborate deception? How could someone live with such a monstrous lie for 2 decades? Headlines flash across the screen. Father's shocking confession, 20-year lie exposed, the girl who never vanished. But the story was far from over. David's confession raised more questions than it answered, and some of those questions would lead investigators down an even darker path. A magnifying glass hovers over crime scene photos as a heartbeat pounds in the background. When search team finally excavated the woodland area David had described, they made a discovery that would change everything once again. There was no body, no remains, no evidence that Emma Morrison had ever been buried there. Shovels hit empty earth as investigators stand around a barren hole in the ground. Had David Morrison been lying about his confession? Was this yet another layer of deception in an already incomprehensible case? Or was there something even more sinister at work? A file marked "Case Reopened" slams down on a detective's desk. The investigation that followed would uncover truths so disturbing that they challenged everything we thought we knew about the Morrison family. A family photograph slowly burns at the edges, the smiling faces distorting in the flames. Further investigation revealed financial irregularities in David Morrison's accounts. Large insurance payments had been made following Emma's disappearance. Money had been donated to the family by well-wishers. Book deals had been signed. A foundation had been established in Emma's name. Calculator buttons are pressed frantically as numbers scroll across a computer screen. Was Emma Morrison's disappearance not an accident covered up, but a carefully orchestrated murder designed to benefit financially from public sympathy? A bank statement shows large deposits as ominous music builds to a crescendo. The case took another shocking turn when investigators examined Emma's school records more closely. What they found would shake the investigation to its core. School files spill open, revealing documents with official stamps and signatures. Emma Morrison, the honors student, the debate team captain, the beloved daughter, had been reported as having behavioral issues at school. Teachers described her as withdrawn, anxious, showing signs of what we now recognize as abuse. Social services had been contacted twice in the months before the family's planned vacation. Red warning flags appear over a school report card covered in concerning notes. Bold. Was Emma Morrison running away from something far worse than anyone had imagined? And if so, what role did her father really play in her disappearance? A child's bedroom door slowly creaks open to reveal a room frozen in time, untouched for decades. The truth about Emma Morrison may never be fully known. David Morrison died in 2015, taking his secrets with him to the grave. Sarah Morrison passed away in 2003, her final words reportedly being, "I just want to see Emma again." Two gravestones stand side by side in a misty cemetery. But Emma's story serves as a chilling reminder of how family secrets can fester and grow, how lies can take on lives of their own, and how the people we trust most can sometimes be the ones harboring the darkest truths. The original photograph of Emma Morrison reappears, but now it seems different. The smile forced, the eyes holding secrets. Today, Emma Morrison would be 47 years old. She might have children of her own, a career, dreams fulfilled. Instead, she remains forever 15 in our memories, a girl who vanished not into the Spanish sunshine, but into the shadows of a family's devastating secrets. The photograph slowly fades to black as a single candle flame flickers in the darkness. What we learn from this. The Emma Morrison case reveals crucial lessons about missing persons investigations and the psychology of deception. When a child disappears, investigators must consider that the family unit, traditionally viewed as the victim, might harbor dark secrets. Studies show that approximately 25% of missing children cases involve family members as perpetrators. The psychological phenomenon of impression management explains how individuals like David Morrison can maintain elaborate deceptions for years. The human mind's capacity for compartmentalization allows people to separate their public persona from their private knowledge, creating multiple versions of reality. Modern investigative techniques, including advanced DNA analysis, digital forensics, and psychological profiling, make it increasingly difficult to maintain such deceptions. However, the Morrison case demonstrates how societal assumptions about parental love and family bonds can blind us to darker possibilities. For families experiencing similar tragedies, the case underscores the importance of transparent communication with authorities and mental health support for all family members affected by trauma. The candle flame finally extinguishes, leaving only darkness and the sound of wind through empty spaces. But some mysteries are never truly solved. They simply reveal new layers of human darkness, reminding us that sometimes the most dangerous place for a child can be the place they should feel safest, home.